really listening.
Don't worry, we heckle too.
Huh?
Don't worry, we heckle also.
Okay. Great. Okay, so, currently, we just began this, nonprofit in March. It is catapulting. God is so good. We were going to wait to get a location first and then start some stuff, but God had different plans for us, and I love how He does that. So He has provided us a way to start doing our job readiness program and our life skills recovery program in October. So the first class for that will be October 4th. And we're going to be partnering with Building Bridges LRC. Kenny's so great. I've been working closely with Kenny Thompson, and he is going to allow us to use the Life Fellowship auditorium for these classes, and then we're going to be able to provide the already released inmates or parolees with job readiness, everything from resume building to interview tactics, how to dress, what to expect, how to follow up properly. On the last day, we're gonna kind of try and do some kind of job fair. So we will be looking for people who know of places that do hire felons and who would possibly be available to come out to that. We also have a life coach and a couple financial planners that are going to do a presentation for them as well. That way they can start learning how to budget their money and how to balance their time and energy. So we also have a fundraiser coming up. It'll be October 26th, and we're going to be partnering with Rockin' Tacos in North Richland Hills for the fundraiser. We're going to have a Halloween-themed fundraiser. So we'd love to see you guys out there. Everything will be posted on the website and on the Facebook page for Every Star Transitional Housing. So, wow. I can't believe I've said this all in one breath without breaking down. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to tear me apart.
Where are you physically located?
Currently we don't have a physical location. That's the other program. I can't believe I completely missed that. Kenny and I are working together right now to get 6 to 8 men together that are going to be house ready, which means that they'll be able to pay their own bills and they'll be able to, all we need them to do is have full-time employment and have their portion of the first month's rent. We're gonna do a room share rental property just to get it started, because currently we don't have a location. Everything that I do is remote, and so but what we're doing is my organization is going to provide the deposit on the house, put it under the organization's liability, and then also provide them the ability to not have any bills for the first 45 days. And so that's what we're working towards. We have, I think, 4 ready now, but we need 8 to be able to ensure that 6 minimum, but 8 is our goal. Yes.
So what made you think about this? Did you find all of a sudden that people coming out didn't have housing or something? Or?
No, okay, so I am a previous inmate.
Okay.
I have been through this process myself about 4 times. I've also been in and out of rehabilitation programs, psychiatric units and things like that, and none of them worked for me. And I have a very close relationship with God, and He said, well, I've also helped several other inmates. As a matter of fact, everyone I knew growing up went to prison. And so when they went to get out, they didn't know anybody who would actually do anything to help except for me, so they would call me and they would be like, hey, I can't get out unless I have somewhere to go. And that's true, because over 32,000 inmates are released from parole each year. And they cannot get out on parole if they do not have housing. And so that's what our goal is. I would like to take part of these houses and use them for the reentry, for them to even be able to get out. But back to what you were asking, I've been the sponsor for several inmates coming out of parole on ankle monitors, and provided them with housing, got them jobs, helped them get their driver's licenses back, and then just helped them get on their feet and change their lives. And I've got a very high success rate in just doing it for people that I know. So God was like, you need to do something. Well, the parole officer that came out the last time, she said, is this some kind of group home? And God was like, it could be. It could be. Why not? You know what you're doing. And I kind of ignored him for a little bit. And one day, I woke up and he said, I'm done with you ignoring me. I need you to quit your job and start doing this. I was like, I don't know about that. So about 2.5 months later into that, I did quit my job and started doing this full time. And he's just been providing a way every step of the way. And so I just know that this is what he wants me to do. I know that it's going to benefit the community in ways that other transitional housing doesn't, because we know personally exactly what it takes. So.
So all the inmates parolees?
Huh?
Are all the inmates and parolees?
Well, that's mostly our goal, considering that there are a lot of unsheltered individuals that are felons, and there are a lot that are still on parole and don't have housing. That's what I'm working with Kenny with, because Kenny has a huge list that he's working with right now that fall into my category, and so we're just bringing them together. But yes, parolees is the #1 mission, because they can't even get out of prison. They wait in there up to a year, sometimes over a year after they've been released on parole, because they have nowhere to go, and there's a waiting list that is absolutely insane.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
My first question is, are you finding that there are more employers now than maybe 10 years ago that are hiring people with records, or is it still a difficult place to find a job?
Well, honestly, it's easier than you think. And a lot of temporary agencies use they don't care about your background. Nowadays, people just want to know that you're actually going to work. Period. Because I have worked at so many companies since then, and I know people who have great backgrounds, great education, and they won't do the work. That doesn't do the company any good. But I know felons that are willing to do things that go out of their way to ensure that they keep the job, but they can't show them until they get their foot in the door, It's not as big of a problem as it was 10 years ago, definitely. But at the same time, a large problem is renting. Renting properties is the #1 problem that I encountered. Everything else, but you have to pay out of pocket for all these application fees and all these deposits and all of these things just to be told no over and over and over again. And after about $1,000 worth of these fees myself, I was like, there has to be another way. So I went out and found that way, and I want to help others find it too. And so we are also looking for possible rental properties that would be willing to get involved in this. If anyone knows of any property owners or private owners or whatever that would like to, get involved, please feel free to contact me. But
And my second question was, when, I did leadership, one of the things that we did was go visit, Tarrant County Jail. And my question to them was, you know, how many of these people, you know, is it like a barn door? Like, how many of these people are gonna be back, you know, 2 days after they're let out? And they're like, oh, about 85%. So do you find that when they have, you know, something to go to, like a home or a job or whatever, they're less likely to reoffend, correct?
there is a certain correct to that. It doesn't just take, housing or a job. They have to have a desire to change. And, some people want it, some people don't know that they want it. And then, the transitional housing and the, halfway houses that they have today, they're designed exactly like the institution that they just came from. They do not give them the ability to start learning what it takes to be self-sufficient in an appropriate way. They don't allow them to do the grocery shopping, cooking for themselves. Yeah, they might let them clean a few things, but nothing of vital importance. They don't take care of themselves still.
Well, so leads into another question I didn't know I had. Because you know that and you've been through it, is there, I mean, certainly not right now, but I mean, are you looking to where you can help educate those people and make a change in those homes, in those group homes, and say, look, you're not really helping them, you're enabling them, you're not showing them how to do better?
Yes.
Like, are you working to make changes in those group homes?
Yes, well, not those particular ones, but the programs that we're opening, there are programs with this housing
Right.
facility. You know, we're going to have individualized programs. Because in my life skills recovery program, I call it Every Step, because there are fundamental things that have to be addressed. Everybody's, and like, I believe you said it, the foundation has to be based on what your faith is. You have to understand what you believe, what your core values and beliefs are, and what the purpose that you need to direct your goals toward. But you also have to understand yourself and how the outside world impacts you and how you impact it. And those are the things that we're teaching them. And so with that and the job readiness program, I believe that they have the ability to be successful. And the recidivism thing, it's a corporation. Prison is a corporation. They want the money from the inmates. They get paid daily per inmate. Any inmate in a rehabilitation program in prison, like an IPTC program, they get double the money for. And on top of that, if they already know the process, it's a lot easier to house them without any issues. They're already institutionalized, bring them back. They know the process, they're not gonna be insubordinate. They're just gonna come in and do what we need them to do, and they're not gonna create as much of an issue as somebody who's brand new. Recidivism, they want recidivism. I truly believe that with all of me after everything that I've seen happen in the prisons in Tarrant County, in Dallas County, all over Texas. And so I'm not brand new at this, and I understand the process, but we can't break that cycle if somebody doesn't give us hope. We can't break that cycle if we don't build on a faith-based foundation. I believe in God, but that doesn't mean that they have to, but they have to know what their faith is, and they have to build on that. And we want to teach them that. They also have to know themselves. Cause you gotta know how you're gonna react in situations, you gotta know how to prevent yourself from being a certain way, but you're gonna have to recognize yourself. And in order to do that, you've got to sit down and take time with yourself and process that information. But if nobody's telling you to look at it and you're not used to looking at it, how are you gonna even know what to do? And we wanna provide that for them. We wanna provide the knowledge that they need to prevent recidivism and to be able to become productive members of society, not just somebody who comes out and gets a house, not just somebody who comes out and gets a job, but people who want to better themselves and the people around them. Yeah.
So are you familiar with Cornerstone Assistance Network?
No.
Okay, they have a similar program. They're, was started by, I think it's Cross Church, it was First Baptist, North Richmond Hills.
It's called Cornerstone what?
Cornerstone Assistance Network.
Assistance.
They have a transitional housing program for, inmates coming out also. It's pretty, they own some of their own property that they house these guys in. I'm not sure program, how that works or anything like that, but you might talk to them. I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Excuse me. I didn't quite understand, you were talking about the, when they're released, they're working for a company, and the company gets paid for hiring them, or?
No, prison. Prison gets paid for them coming back. Okay, so,
Oh, when they get into prison, they get so much for
they
being
get
housed
so
in the
much,
prison?
well, they get so much money per inmate, right? When they're in prison. But think about this, is it easier to have somebody come back that already knows the process? Or somebody you have to be concerned with that's brand new coming in and doesn't know what they're doing? That's where recidivism comes in. They want people who already know, who are already institutionalized to keep returning. That's why the rate, when they come out into these transitional houses, they're not designed to teach them what they need to prevent them from
When you
going
say
back.
they want, who is the they?
Prisons.
Who is they? The
Prisons.
prison system.
The prison system.
They want them to come back?
They want them to come back.
That's their business.
It's their business, that's a corporation.
Oh,
It's their
okay,
business.
okay.
That's, inmates are their business. That's what they make their money on.
Do you interview the inmates prior to them being on parole?
Prior to them being on parole, well,
Do you choose the inmates that
we
you want to help?
will, once we start accepting them, because we haven't opened a location for them to come to yet. I did just recently meet somebody who works directly with parolees who's gonna, start helping with that. But we can only, depending on where our locations end up being, we cannot, house certain inmates, of course, near schools, or anything like that. We are gonna have a males facility first, but we are looking also to house females. And, so any aggravated or, sex offenders, we're going to have, possible issues housing.
The recidivism rates have never changed in all the years that I've dealt with criminal justice, either as a private citizen or as part of the system.
Uh-huh.
The FBI rate is 2/3 reoffend within 2 years. My own study that I got commissioned with Dr. Fabello, and I provided the felony records where we have a metric just for Tarrant County, was 50% reoffended within 1 year. So we have a number of reentry programs in Tarrant County.
Yes.
What are you gonna do different, since those other ones don't seem to be making a difference, except in their own self-reported figures, which don't match other
Reality.
outside facilities and things?
Well, what we're going to attempt is to make them do it themselves. We're not gonna provide, a handout, we're trying to provide a hand up. And And in order to do that, I believe it's not just, based on an AA or an NA program that they need. It's life skills, but it starts with faith and it starts with cognitive behavioral therapy. And I know that there are other programs that use cognitive behavioral therapy, but when you have 4 individuals that have records this long showing you it's possible, because that's what we do. We're physical hope. We're a physical indicator that people like us can make it, and that there is a way to get around the barriers and the obstacles. Now, again, like you said, I mean, it technically is all up to them, yes, but I believe that the way that we have, the program that we're developing, it's a personal program that I'm writing the curriculum for. Now, I mean, it's all trial run, of course, because, you know, but based on what I've worked, the people I've worked with so far, I've had a very high success rate, so I'm running with that.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
And I think